I'm Zach.
I'm Alec.
And this is
SpotSight. Hello everybody and welcome to our first real episode of SpotSight. Today we are going to be talking about our Super Bowl predictions since it's coming up next week. This is Zach and I right here, of course, but we have a special guest on the show today. This is Chad.
Oh.
And anyway, as you know, the Broncos are going to be playing the Panthers this week, and we're going to give our predictions and who we think is going to win.
Let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about the Broncos. Obviously, the Broncos have a great defense. Cam Newton's been hot lately, but I mean, every single game we watch the Broncos play, stellar defense. I think that's probably going to be, their key to winning the game.
That's entirely true. The Broncos do have a great defense, but of course, the Broncos also have Peyton Manning on their team. As you know, Peyton Manning's a legend. He hasn't had the best year, but since he's come back from his injury, he had a great game last week, and I say, he's definitely a great quarterback, and he motivates the team, and I think that's going to be a big player in the game this coming Sunday.
And kind of tying on to the Broncos having a great defense, if you want to go more in depth, their pass rush is probably the best in the NFL. They actually led the NFL in sacks this year, and that's the kind of thing the Panthers haven't really had to deal with this year, except for maybe the Seahawks, which still struggled to get pass rush on them. So I think Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware on the outside will be able to really potentially dominate the Panthers O-line.
And obviously, although the Broncos are a great team, they do have some weaknesses. So let's hear a little bit about that, guys.
So even though the Broncos have a great defense and a pretty decent passing game, their run game is very inconsistent. C.J. Anderson, he hasn't had the best year, rushing, and basically they haven't been getting as many rushing yards as they wanted and relying more on the passing game.
And I think kind of touching on the passing game, well, at times it is good. At a lot, most of the times it can be really inconsistent. Peyton Manning managed to lead the league in interceptions, playing only I think it was 8 or 9 games, and he doesn't have the arm strength he used to, and so against a fast Panthers defense could be an issue trying to get the ball into tight windows.
Let's move on to the Panthers. What are their strengths as a team?
So one of those strengths is definitely Cam Newton. He has played amazing lately. He had about 4 touchdowns in last week's game. You really can't deny that he's been playing really well this season. He's definitely an MVP contender, Both in the passing game, he's been extraordinary, and the rushing game. And, two touchdowns on the ground last game, and then 2 in the air as well. And overall, just not even just his skills, but just how he motivates the team and his confidence. His attitude is really contagious, if that makes sense. And he really fires up that Panthers team.
Yeah, they've also got a great defense, probably second to the Broncos even. You've got Josh Norman at cornerback, who's probably one of the best lockdown corners in the game. I mean, he locked down Julio Jones, Dez Bryant, just tons of great receivers. They got Luke Kuechly, who is a defensive player of the year candidate as well. He's great at coverage, run stopping. He seems to just be everywhere on the field. And then you can't deny their pass rush. While it's not as good as the Broncos, it's still pretty solid. And just overall, their defensive unit is just there seems to be no holes that the Broncos can try to exploit.
So real quick, as we look at their strengths, I think we can also pair some of that to their weaknesses, though. When we look at Cam Newton, he is a leader. In the second half of the Seahawks game, we did see that leadership sort of crumble, and you saw the rest of the team.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything fell apart. Luckily, they had built up such a lead that it was too late. The Hawks had no chance of coming back. What do you guys think about if the Broncos are able to get in Cam Newton's head?
The Seahawks are definitely a second half team. They're really notable for their comebacks in the second half. I mean, like you said, they did make a huge comeback. Again, that wasn't all Cam Newton's fault. The defense obviously didn't play as well. That's how the Seahawks were able to score 24 points in the first place. It's really hard to tell, but what do you think, Chad?
Yeah, I think you're bringing up a good point. I think you can see a flaw in the defense where potentially if they're forced to stay on the field for a long time, they could tire out easily. For most of the season, they're forcing a lot of turnovers. You saw, for example, whenever I think Carolina had 4 turnovers in the first half or something ridiculous like that. Seattle had 4 turnovers. The Panthers' defense didn't have to stay on the field as long. and so they were able to rest up and still keep dominating. But as soon as they quit forcing those takeaways, they struggled. They got tired, and the Seahawks were able to kind of walk all over them. You kind of see that throughout the year. Against the Falcons, they also struggled whenever they weren't forcing takeaways. So I think it could be a big flaw if they're not able to force any takeaways against the Broncos.
And one more thing. In that game against the Seahawks, Cam was put under pressure a lot. During the Cardinals game, he wasn't. So that's something to really look at, under pressure when the defense isn't staying on the field as long, Cam having that pressure, not feeling as comfortable. And like I said, that charisma, pumping up the team. The less confident he is, kind of less confidence the offense has as well as the defense.
Yeah,
potentially.
You bring up a good point with under pressure, both metaphorically, if he's under pressure, the game's tight, things like that. But also, one way to force pressure is by creating pressure as a defense. And, like we mentioned, the Broncos' strengths, best pass rushing in the NFL. And so you could see him kind of get a little bit unmotivated, kind of start blaming his offensive line, if he gets sacked a couple times. And that could cause a huge issue for the team because he's definitely their life and blood.
Definitely. All right, and now for the part you guys have all been waiting for, predictions. I'll start us off here. Honestly, I think the Panthers have this one. I think they're the stronger team all around. Their defense is obviously not as strong, but I don't think that's going to matter as much. Defense does win championships. However, Cam Newton's nearly unstoppable. I do think their weakness, though, is Cam Newton at the same time. So if the Broncos are able to get in Cam's head, they have a shot. However, both teams playing at their best, I honestly think the Panthers are the better team.
Yeah, I think if the Broncos can put a lot of pressure on Cam Newton, then the Broncos definitely have a chance. Even though I am a Seahawks fan, I'm going to have to go with the Panthers on this one. I think they are just basically unstoppable at this point, especially with, how well they're playing, how well their defense is playing, and, as we were talking about, Cam Newton as a passer and a runner, and totally that vibe that he's giving to his team and whatnot. So I'm going to have to go with the Panthers on this one.
So I'm going to go against both you guys. I'm going to go with the Broncos for this one. I think the fact that Peyton Manning's probably in his last game of his storied NFL career, that team's going to be playing they're trying to get him the win. They're trying to get him a ring. They want to win Peyton Manning's final game. They don't want to be the team that lost it for him. Like I said, the pass rush is just insane. The Panthers line is good, but it's not that great. And the Broncos are one of the best passing rush teams we've seen in a while. So I think the Broncos are going to win. It's going to be a tight one, but I'm going to give it to the Broncos.
What do you think the score is going to be on that game? Take a guess.
Let's go 24-17.
Ooh, I'm going to say the Panthers end up winning this one 24-21. What about you, Zach?
I think the Panthers are going to win 47-3. You heard it here first.
Okay. All right.
All right. 47-3. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about our Super Bowl predictions and who we think is going to win. Tune in for next week's episode. You can go ahead and follow us on Twitter at SpotSight Videos, or Facebook or Instagram. All that stuff is going to be in the description, so make sure you check it out. And another thanks to Chad for being on the show today.
Thank you.
You can follow him at his social media too. And links of that will all be in the description. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and we will see you in the next video.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Comment down below.
No, why would they comment?
What are your
comment
Super Bowl
your Super Bowl.
predictions?
Yeah, okay. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah.
That's why we plan, guys.
We will see you in the next video.